my TV.
Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live Start Sit with the Fatboyz Dynasty podcast team presented by the Fantasy Holics live on X, YouTube, and Facebook. Hanging out with you guys for a Week 10 slate where if you're up already watching football, watching the Falcons just get torched like I am, you're probably in a better mood than I am because you're probably not Falcons fans. But anyway, Brant, how you doing this Sunday morning?
Doing good. Early morning football is always fun, especially when you got, a little something to root for. I root that your Falcons do well because I don't want to see you in a bad mood all week. I always do root that they have a good, at least a good showing. I know we've talked about it that you don't expect a whole lot from them this year, but like I said, we talked about it prior to minus, a couple mistakes here. They're right in this ball game still with the fumble and then the missed or the blown coverage on the deep ball. All in all, it's a good Sunday. Start off early, watching some football and going throughout the entire day.
Yeah, it's frustrating. This team's two decent kicks away from being 5-3 instead of 3-5,
Mm-hmm.
and the season feels hopeless. But let's see if we can't keep somebody's fantasy season from being hopeless here. Kevin comes in and says, "Good morning, boys. I have a lot of players on bye this week. Start one running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex between this list. He's got Jordan Addison, Deebo Samuel, Christian Watkins, Quinshon Judkins, Kyle Monangai, and Bill."
Oh my goodness! All right, so we need. Sorry, I was finishing sharing this out on all the platforms. We need 1 running back and 2 wide receivers. Let's get that out.
And one flex.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Judkins is guaranteed my running back there. I think I go. I think I go Watson. And Minnesota's got what in Baltimore. I think I go Addison. I go Watson and Addison for my wide receivers. And my flex, I think I go Deebo because unless Swift sits, I'm not sure what that workload's going to look like. I know Monangai looked really, really good, and but I would like to see what that workload looks like there in Chicago with Swift back. So I think I go with your 3 receivers and Judkins.
Yeah, Judkins is by far one of my favorite plays out of this whole list. Christian Watson, I think the last 2 weeks has kind of shown that maybe he was the missing piece as far as targets go 4 and 4. Kraft now being out, I think that bodes well for Christian Watson, so I like him. I actually think I slightly lean Deebo Samuel over Jordan Addison in a game that I expect the Commanders to have to throw a lot because I expect them to be from behind pretty early. So, and then as far as running back, flex, I think I'm going Kyle Monangai. I don't think I'm sitting him after how good he looked last week, man. I just, I know it was a 1 week showing, and that 1 week he kind of blew the top off the defense, but I'm going to roll him again this week.
Yeah, I absolutely do like Monangai. While we're on that, I do like him. I just it kind of makes me nervous with how it's going to look moving forward, especially we haven't really had the sample size of both of them after good showings, and this could be another Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard situation where 1 week away and Monangai outshines Swift, and the next thing you know, he's coming out going, yeah, we're going to give him the ball.
Sure.
All right, Tony says, good morning, fellas. Good morning, Tony. Never thought I would ever ask this question, but Lamar or Stafford? I think I go with Lamar. I think I go Lamar here with rushing upside and everything else there, I think I go with Lamar. I know Stafford's getting Puka back. Excuse me. But that's a divisional game. The NFC West, whenever it's divisional games, I know it's a 49.5 point spread, but those divisional games sometimes end up in just defensive slaughter fest because the coaches know each other so well and know what's going to happen. So I think I'm going to go with Lamar and avoid that collision there.
Yeah, Stafford's been so good this year. Wide receiver, quarterback 9. He's got Puka playing great. Adams is playing great. Running game looks good. However, Lamar's kind of the ultimate fantasy cheat code. So I have to roll Lamar out. And I think Lamar's potential to be quarterback 1 on the week is much higher than that of Stafford. And obviously, Lamar missed a good chunk of time. Otherwise, I think they'd probably be similarly ranked. So I go Lamar. Kevin comes back at us. He says, lost Kraft, so I picked up Fannin Jr., who is questionable now. Should I play Fannin Jr. or pick up these available options at tight end? Mark Andrews, Hunter Henry. He's got Drake May. He says TJ Hawkinson, Cade Otton, Isaiah Likely, or Dalton Schultz.
How has Hawkinson been?
I thought Hawkinson had a pretty darn good game last week. If I'm not
he finished tight end to 16, 26, and 20 over the last 3 weeks. He's only had 3 targets. Henry's been getting back on track, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, never mind. He's just down there, just as bad too.
I mean, you're talking about Mark Andrews coming off of a 2-touchdown performance.
Oh, that's right. They were on bye last week, were they not? No, they were on. That was last week, man. I feel like this week's just been such a drag.
I think I go pick up Dalton Schultz, honestly. Last 3 weeks, 10 targets, 3 targets, 8 targets.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Schultz here as well. I just got to that one. Tight end 7 last week.
Playing the 29th ranked defense against tight end, so I 100% go Schultz.
Yep. I'm trying to see what Otten's done real fast. 5, 9, and 6 over the last 3 weeks with the injuries they've had. Yeah, I think I still go with Schultz there. All right. Dan asks, Hurts or Jackson Dart? Feels like a good week to start Dart, but obviously hard to sit Hurts. I think I start Hurts here. I can't bring myself to bench him. I do think it will be a good week for Dart, but I think I have to stick with Hurts here.
I think you're starting Hurts and expecting a decent little showing from him, actually. So
yeah, coming off a QB4 finish right before the bye week and then going on bye. Hurts should be starting to get his legs back underneath him and everything else. So I do like that start.
Which let's not forget, too, there might be some personal vengeance in this game. The Packers were the team that was spearheading in the offseason to ban the tush push. So we'll see if
about 6 tush pushes for touchdowns this week would be phenomenal for me.
All right, Joe comes at us as another week of dog water options for the flex and PPR. He's got TJ Hawkinson, Mason Taylor, Chris Rodriguez, Terrell Jennings, or Mac Hollins. I know where I want to go on this one already, I think.
Bootie's out, so Max should slide into a little bit of a bigger role, but I still think I go Mason Taylor here.
I'm going Chris Rodriguez.
Okay.
The coaching staff come out and said after last week he was going to see more carries. I bet this is close to a 50% workload for him. His explosive runs have been pretty good this year. In games where he's had over 5 rushes, he's averaged 3.5, 8.4, and 5.4 yards per carry. So if he gets the ball over 5 times, he's going to put some fantasy numbers up. I like Chris Rodriguez in this contest.
Okay. Tony asks, PPR, Derrick Henry or Rico Dowdle? Green Bay's been pretty decent against the run, haven't they? It's been the pass that they've been getting.
Green Bay's playing Philly. Green Bay doesn't. Yeah, they don't have anything to do with the question.
I don't know why I went straight.
I went straight
to that game too.
Rico against the Saints and Henry against the Vikings.
Both about. I think I go with Rico here.
Yeah, man, it's hard to sit Derrick Henry with the explosive runs that he's capable of, but yeah, I like Rico a lot this week. A lot. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think they did a thing that I saw recently that since week 5, Rico Dowdle's been like the number 1 running back in football. So
I'm a little ahead of you, so I'll let you enjoy this real fast.
Yeah. I don't like he's getting up slow, falling hard on that shoulder that he's missed time with already this year. That's not a good sign. But the touchdown we like.
Yeah. I'll roll into the next one while you enjoy this. We got Tony saying, I already went to that next one.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, nope, you're good. Tony says pick 2, Lamar, Herbert, or May. I'm going with Lamar, and I'm going with May here. That game there, New England and Tampa Bay could end up in a shootout of a game. Both offenses are starting to click and get everything going. So I'm going with May and Lamar on this one.
I actually think I'm going Lamar and Herbert. Herbert, I think that same week, it was the Fantasy Holics page that put it out. Since week 5, Herbert's been the quarterback 1 on the season. So I'm not sitting Herbert. The implied point total from Vegas for the Chargers and the Patriots is within a half of a point of one another. So I'm going to start the number 2 overall quarterback in fantasy this week and do so pretty confidently in Herbo.
Okay.
And just like I thought, Drake Lennon into the medical tent. Adam asks JCM or Douglas in the flex and half-point PPR. So do you like Pop Douglas or do you like Bill this week, Brant?
Without Booty, I'm going to go with Douglas there. I believe Douglas had quite a bit of targets.
Against my Falcons last week. Yes, he torched the Falcons. Yes, he did.
So I'm actually going to go with Douglas here, especially without Booty.
I agree. It's Pop Douglas for me in that one.
Hey, with that touchdown there, I'm not projected to get my butt kicked by the vampire as bad. Youssef says, I picked up Loveland, but I also have Swift and Rome in my lineup. 3 Bears sound like too much with Caleb being inconsistent. Would you play Loveland or Miller with Garrett Wilson back? And then would you flex Kamara or Chubb? Well, I'm going to flex Kamara. I'll get that one knocked out. 3 Bears is a lot.
I assume that's Mason Taylor, not Mason Miller, right?
Yes. I assume that was correct. Oh my goodness, Loveland looked so good last week, and I actually am going to talk about him in a little bit. But 3 Bears.
Cole Kmet's back this week too, for what that's worth.
I think I roll with the 3 Bears. I do. I think I go Swift, Rome, and Loveland. Just hope Rome doesn't go out there doing cardio again.
Oh, man, Brant. If it's Mason Taylor, I like Mason Taylor a lot.
Yes, he did come down here a few comments later. It is Taylor.
I was looking up Mason Miller just to be safe, and that is an offensive lineman for the Lions. So I was hoping we weren't starting him in fantasy, but yes, I would go Mason Taylor, honestly. Mason Taylor coming off right before the bye, 8 targets. That offense is going to be a little different this week, adding Adonai Mitchell, but I don't expect him to have a huge role early. So I like Mason Taylor a little bit. I do. I agree with you on the Kamara over Chubb thing, though.
Okay.
Which rolls us right into this one. Joe asks, Lions, Seahawks, or Panthers, defense, special teams?
I really want to say the Seahawks. We're committing turnovers. We're moving. We're doing good. We're shutting down the run. But the Panthers have such a nice matchup against New Orleans. I'm looking at some point totals here.
I really don't think you can go wrong with either defense, honestly, Brian. If I'm being honest with you, I think I'm cool with both Panthers or the Seahawks, not so much the Lions. Although the Lions do get Marcus Mariota, so really, honestly, all 3 of these are okay.
Yeah, I think I just lean the Seahawks a little bit over the rest, but all three of them should be very serviceable this week.
Yep.
Jennifer asks, Swift or Vidal?
Kiamani, baby. It's Vidal for me.
Yeah, I think I go with Vidal here as well. Once again, I got to see what that Bears backfield's going to be doing.
She follows it up with Hurts or Stafford and then comes back with a second part of Rico, Brees Hall, and Gaston pick 2.
I'm going with Hurts over Stafford. I think I go with the 2 running backs, Rico and Brees. Gadsden's been so good, but I do think I go with Rico and Brees in this.
I'm going with Stafford over Hurts. I do think Lamar is the only quarterback I'm really starting over Stafford this week. But as far as the other part of it, I agree with the 2 running backs. I think high ceiling for Rico this week, and Brees might be the whole offense moving forward for the Jets.
Yeah, it is tough to start Brees against Cleveland. It is tough, but I think you have to.
I mean, after what he did last week, I don't know how you sit him. So
right. Although he was out there riding around in a go-kart through the locker room and on the practice field. Jennifer comes back with Jennings, Kamara, or Shakir. I think I go. Yeah, that's where I was about to go. I think I go with Shakir.
He's been too good the last couple of weeks. I think I'm pretty comfortable going Shakir.
Yeah.
Somebody in the comments, let me know, what are they saying about Drake London? He's out of the medical tent. I've got it muted, obviously, so I can pay attention here. Need somebody to hook me up. What's being said about Drake? Is he good? What's up? Tony says Lad McConkey or Chris Olave. I want to say Olave, but man, how do you do that with how bad Tyler Shuck was last week? Does it get better this week or?
Right. I'm gonna say McConkey.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Lad.
I'm gonna go Lad by the slightest of margins, but I will talk about Chris Olave a little bit later on. So I do have a fair amount of faith in Olave this week as well. So, yeah. The father of the fantasy holics, if you will, Jeremiah says, looks like Bo Finley is watching the Falcons game. And I am. And I'm actually not as upset as I have been, but they'll find a way to break my heart just like they have every other week this year. So, yes, I am a little preoccupied this week.
Tony says my son needs help. He has Rice on bye, so he needs a wide receiver, Diggs or Wilson. I think I go Garrett Wilson here. It's closer than it should be with those two, but it is definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Diggs has been so inconsistent. One week he blows up, the next week he's kind of irrelevant, and yet he's still wide receiver 23 on the season, which I know a big part of that is because of how good the quarterback play has been, but. I mean, you talk about Garrett Wilson. When Garrett Wilson plays, which we haven't seen him since week 6, 9 targets, 8 targets, 13 targets, 8 targets, 10 targets, 8 targets. He's getting the ball. So Garrett Wilson having that volume, you find a way to get him in your lineup for sure.
Yep.
Michael says morning he's got Sam Darnold or Caleb, and then he's also got Aaron Jones or Swift. So I'm going Sam Darnold.
I am too. I'm going Sam Darnold as well. He gets another deep threat weapon. I'm going with Darnold, and then I think I'm gonna lean Swift by the slightest of margins, just because Jones went down hurt. He was questionable all week. I know he's supposed to play, trending to play, but I think I go with Swift here. I know Swift missed last week, and he is coming back as well, but I think this is by the slightest of margins. I'm going to lean Swift.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I go Swift by the slightest of margins on that side.
Daniel asked Jamo or Manungai. Sorry, I was getting prepped to say the name and almost messed it all up. I go with
You messed up the
Manungai.
easy one. You
Yeah,
messed up
I'm
the
gonna
easy
go.
one.
I'm gonna go with Manungai here.
Yeah, I'll go Kyle Manungai as well. I just think after the game he had last week, it's too good of a play to not have him in your lineup. So I did want to take the time to do this. I meant to do this before we got started, like before we got busy answering questions, but I obviously, Falcons game being on, a little sidetracked. I want to give a quick shout out to all you veterans. Brand, I know you're a veteran. We are in Veterans Week, getting ready to celebrate Veterans Day this coming week. So it's Veterans Day weekend. NFL is doing their salute to service stuff. So I just want to take a quick moment and say from the Fatboyz, we appreciate and thank all the veterans for all the sacrifices you guys have made for this country. Brant, you included. So thank you guys for your service.
Yes, thank you guys very much. And thank you, Bo, for the quick shout out there. Thank you, everybody. We got a few other veterans there at the Fantasy Holics. Thank you guys for all your service and everything you guys do.
Yep, absolutely. Jan says, hey, guys, Kyle Manungai or Aaron Jones, and then bench one of Addison, McConkey, Diggs, or Tez Johnson. So start with the first one. I feel like it's Kyle Manungai.
Yeah, I'm going with Manungai here as well. And then benching one. I think I benched. Oh my gosh, I really liked that game today, and I actually like Tez today. I think I benched Diggs. I really think I'm not really liking benching any of them because I kind of like all the matchups this week that they have, but I think I go with Diggs. That offense could end up in a shootout.
I'm going to sit at Jordan Addison just because I like his quarterback the least out of the other three. So for that reason and that reason only, I'm going Jordan Addison.
Okay. All right. I don't disagree. I do like I am okay with
Jesse Bates is a ball hawk.
Yeah. He'll at least take you guys in a half leading.
Sorry,
yeah. No, I'd be okay with benching Addison as well too, but I really like that matchup. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Diggs. I think I'm going to stick with benching Diggs.
Okay. Jeff comes asked, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Jeff asked Darnold or Jalen this week. Darnold or Jalen this week's. I think I go with Hurts. They're coming off a bye. He's coming off of a good game. I think I go with Hurts.
God, the Seahawks implied point total this week by Vegas is one of the highest out there. I mean, you guys are projected what? Let me do the quick math here. 24 points. So I'm gonna, and it's that's not coming from the running backs. I'm gonna go Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's a hell of a play this week. I really do.
Is it not going to come from the running backs? I may talk about that a little later.
Okay, well, maybe it is this week. All right. Javi says Mark Andrews or Juwan Johnson.
I'm going with Juwan Johnson.
What did he do last week with
They just traded Shaheed. I think Johnson's going to get a lot more targets this week.
He did have a touchdown last week with Tyler Shuck, so I think you're right. I think I go Juwan Johnson. Right.
He is tight end 11 on the year, so yeah, I'm going with Johnson here. Oh, skipped one.
Oh, I did it. Refresh right on there on me.
Yep. Tony says PPR, Tet, Diggs, or Ladd, or Rashid Shaheed. Pick three. I'm going with your first three, Tet, Diggs, and Ladd. I got to see what Shaheed's going to do. Without Horton, the thing is, you have to be okay with sitting it because without Horton this week, you may see Shaheed do the same thing that Horton did last week. But I'm going to go with Tet, Diggs, and Ladd for safety reasons.
Yeah. I just, same thing. I want to see Shaheed. If the rookie was healthy and Horton was playing, I think maybe I feel a little bit differently about that. But with the fact that Horton's missing this week, it does make me a little nervous to sit Shaheed. But because I think otherwise he'd be slowly integrated, have like a few play packages, and that'd be it. But I'll go with the first three as well.
Okay.
Here's our favorite Canadian. Jay comes at us. He's the guy who does all the graphics, all the intros, one of the biggest contributors to the Fantasy Holics. Jay, we love you. Fields, Rodgers, or Brissett, and 4-point passing touchdowns, Brant. When it says passing touchdowns, I think you take Fields out, right?
I do. I do think you do. I mean, he might rush a few in, but
I want to go old man Aaron.
I do too. I think you go with Rodgers here. It's a good matchup. So, I think I go with Rodgers here.
Now, admittedly so, the Cardinals offense looked the best it has almost all season last week. Both Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. 8 last week. I don't know as though I think that happens again this week. I think the Seahawks defense has been too darn good. So I'll go with Rodgers in a Sunday night contest where I think you may see the scoreboard get lit up.
Tony says PPR, Flowers, Diggs, McConkey, Tet. Which one do you sit? I think I'm sitting Diggs in this one too. I like Flowers this week, so I think I'm actually going to sit Diggs on this one.
Tony, that makes me question if you're on this. Are you on this other one where you're thinking you're wanting to play Shaheed potentially? If so, if we're taking that, I think out of those three left, I think you do sit Diggs. I guess Flowers is in this one. So, okay, let me rephrase myself there. I guess you just have some of the same wide receivers. I thought you were getting cute with us there. I think out of this one, I sit Diggs as well. So, Flowers is hit or miss. Sometimes he's really, really good. Sometimes he's really, really non-existent. But, I think out of that one, I sit Diggs. He's been exactly what I just said about Flowers. Sometimes it's like he's not even out there. So I'll go as well with Diggs, Brant.
Okay. Christian asked, should I start Barkley versus Green Bay or Cook versus Miami?
There's got to be a way to play both, right? Because
I think Cook has. Go ahead.
I can't. If I can only play one, it's got to be Cook.
I think Cook has the potential this week to be RB1. So I think I would go with Cook if I can't get them both in.
Yeah, I think it's if I truly have to only pick one, it's Cook. Cook's one of my favorite running backs of the week. So if that's the case, then I'd go with Cook. All right, let's talk some stats from this overseas game here real quick. Normally I have this ready to go, but since I'm watching it on the TV this week, Penix 99 yards passing at half, 1 touchdown. Bijan 9 for 47. Drake London 4 for 72 and a tutty. On the Colts side, Daniel Jones 142 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. JT 10 for 57 and a touchdown. Alec Pierce 4 for 84 and a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Alec Pierce is solidifying himself as, I guess, the number one, because Pittman only has 1 for 9, and that's who everyone did. Pierce has been having a very good game today. Like I told you pre-show, apparently I put my money on the wrong Colts receiver today. It's been a good half. It's been a fun half to watch. Few turnovers on both sides of the ball, both teams. It's been a good half. You guys went into it, getting that interception to end it, and got a little momentum. I think you guys start with the ball in the second half. I think I just saw.
That's correct.
Yeah. So should be a good. Hopefully, you guys come out of the locker room, with that momentum and keep it going.
Yeah, I mean it's hard being a Falcons fan, Brant. I mean, all the consistent 28-3 references, It seems like if any NFL team's going to find a way to blow a game late, it's the Falcons. Kickers suck. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Pat McAfee, I'd say it on College Game Day. I'd say it on whatever. As a Falcons fan, I'm not a big fan of kickers at the moment, but, so much is so much. You can only do what you can. But, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Brent, what game are you watching on the noon slate today? I've got to figure out which one I'm going to watch as well, but what one are you watching?
It was going to be Buffalo and Miami, but I think I'm going to stick close and try to keep the game close. And I'm going to watch that New England Tampa Bay game with when I wrote it down, it was a 2.5 point spread. So I think I'm going to stick to that Tampa Bay New England game. I think I'm actually going to get some use out of the Sunday ticket this week. I've been off of it with some of the good games actually being on our cable. So, but I think I'm going to be using it this week.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I watch it every week. Obviously, I'd rather watch paint dry than watch a Chicago Bears game. I think I'm leaning Browns Jets just because of the fact that I feel like I'm way too invested in Dylan Gabriel this year. I've got a lot of shares of Quinshon Judkins. And I really like Mason Taylor. So I think that game's going to be I may do the same thing and have like 2 or 3 games on the screen at once, but that'll be the one that's got my volume. I think I'm also really intrigued by the Ravens-Vikings game. So
yeah, that should be a pretty good one there as well, that Ravens-Vikings. I spoke too soon because on our cable is New England and Tampa Bay.
There you go. So you won't be watching NFL Sunday Ticket this week either way. Christian does say, should I start Hurts, Goff, or May?
I'm going with Hurts. I like it this week. It should be a good game. So I'm going to go with Hurts.
Yep, I go Hurts on that one as well.
Christian also asked if we like to watch the Red Zone. I don't really keep it on too much. Sometimes I'll have it on if I'm running around doing stuff. That way I can't really focus on one game. If I'm just kind of going in and out, cooking or whatever else, I'll have it on just to keep me up to date. But no, I normally don't watch the Red Zone too much.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those. I feel like Red Zone's really fun if you're like in 45 fantasy leagues and you own a stake in every player and maybe you don't have a favorite NFL team. But, for me, usually I lock in on games that mean something to me. So obviously my Falcons games come first every weekend. But when it's not the Falcons, I go to, whichever matchup has the most fantasy implications for me, in my 7 or 8 leagues I care about. And that's the ones that I go with.
Yep. Kevin asked, do you like Schultz with Stroud out? I do. We talk about that all the time. Backups like to lean on their running backs, and, well, I don't trust that backfield there in Houston. So I think, they're going to lean on a tight end. I do like Schultz without Stroud.
Yeah, I do too. I think Davis Mills can get the ball to Dalton Schultz plenty. So I do like that. Ryan says PPR needs one, Monty, Diggs, or Christian Watson.
I'm going with Watson here. Like I said, I like this matchup. I like the Monday night game. I think Watson may end up catching 1 or 2 touchdowns this week, so I'm going to go with Watson.
Yeah, if I look at it from just a wide receiver standpoint, I do like Christian Watson better than Stephon Diggs. Don't know if I like either of them more so than I like Montgomery. However, I have to assume this is obviously in relation to a flex. When it comes to my flex, I usually go with a higher ceiling play. So that does feel like Christian Watson to me. So I will say that I will ride with Christian Watson as well.
Okay. All right.
Well,
so we talked about the noon slate. Let's talk about that. Where are you at with the 3 o'clock slate? Because where I'll be at the 3 o'clock slate.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to watch you guys' game as well. I mean, I'm a very big believer in Marvin Harrison Jr. I'd like to see him have another game. And honestly, I think the wide receiver matchup between Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith, and Jigba is probably must-watch TV. but I'll probably bounce back between and forth between that one and the Rams-Niners game. So big divisional matchups for your division and in that 3 o'clock slate or 4 o'clock slate, depending on where you're at. But yeah, I think there'll be some attention to those 2 games for me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good divisional weekend for us with all these teams playing each other. It's been a tough division to pull ahead of. We haven't even seen the Rams yet this year. We lost to the Niners early on a late one. That just is a division that's still wide open. Arizona's offense is starting to look capable of actually putting up points and seeing over the offensive line. So they're still in the running. They have a hole to get out of, but they are still in the running to win that division.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Got another question here. Kevin says, do you think Isaiah Likely will take over as tight end 1 with Lamar and Likely both healthy together now?
No, I think it's still going to be a split between him and Andrews.
I think actually you're more likely to see both of them on the field a decent amount. But I think if it's a 1 tight end set, I think you still see more Mark Andrews than you do Isaiah Likely, at least early on. I still think Mark Andrews got some left in the tank. So yeah, I think Mark Andrews is probably still my tight end in that offense if I had to bet.
Yeah, I was really hoping to see Mark Andrews get moved at the trade deadline or Isaiah Likely just to get a more opportunity somewhere. But for the rest of the year, we're going to have to ride it out and see what happens.
Let's get into these underdog plays of the week while we're still at halftime, and I have 95% of my attention diverted to the cast here. Brent, you ready?
All right, sounds good.
All right, Brent, walk us through your underdog card for this weekend.
So my underdog card, I got Drake May to go higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think this game turns into a shootout of a game. Excuse me, fun TV to watch. So I do like him to go higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Excuse me. I got Tez Johnson there in the same game to go higher than 3.5 receptions. Same reason. I think this game turns into a shootout. I think Tez is going to have a pretty good game there. So I do like Tez. I got Loveland to go higher than 26.5 receiving yards. I like his matchup this week. I like the way that the Bears have been starting to try to use him. And he could go higher than that and 1 reception. Then I got Rondé Gatson to go higher than 54.5 receiving yards. Yes, I did look it up to make sure I could say it all right, just so I didn't butcher it too much. I do like him to go higher than 54.
Where did he go to college at, Brant?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I just looked
up
how to pronounce it. I don't know.
Just slow down and think about it. Where did he go to college, Brant? You're the mascot of this school. You know him intimately.
Oh, my Lord. He's got to be a Syracuse Orangeman, doesn't he?
That is correct. Yes, he is.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, I'm not going to lie. I thought you were about to tell me he was like a backup at Washington, and I was supposed to know it. I'm like,
no.
They didn't have anybody come out this year, really. And then I got Trey McBride to go higher than 64.5 receiving yards. We're missing Ernest Jones, who normally is the leader of our defense and covers the middle of the field. So I think McBride's going to have a pretty good day today.
Okay. All right. For me, I've got Quinshon Judkins higher than 90.5 rushing and receiving yards. I just think that Jets defense is going to be, they really didn't have much to begin with. Now super depleted with the trades that they made at the trade deadline. I mentioned this one earlier. I said I'd talk about it. I have Olave going higher than 55.5 receiving yards. I think if you're Tyler Shuck in a contest, you might think you have a chance to win against the Carolina Panthers. You pepper your guy. Speaking of your guy, I've got Dalton Kincaid higher than 3.5 receptions. He seems to be the guy for Josh Allen. If Josh Allen has one, I guess he does spread the ball out pretty well, but definitely does like him some Dalton Kincaid. I've got Rico Dowdle higher than 17.5 for his longest rush. This is a guy that's been super electric. Shows great contact balance, great explosiveness since the season has started. And I hated Underdog this week, Brian. I did, so I went with one. I've got Cam Little to have higher than 1.5 field goals this week. It seems like every week one of us squeezes a kicker into it, but Cam Little coming off of setting the new record for the longest field goal kick at 68 yards last weekend. I think he comes back this week and gets two done.
Okay, absolutely. I like those plays. Let's jump into some of this real fast. Christian says, since finding our Sunday podcast, you guys have been part of my football Sunday routine. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Christian. We appreciate you joining us every Sunday. You guys are the reasons we get up and do this every Sunday. If not, it would just be us staring at each other. So we appreciate you guys joining us and keeping us part of your routine.
And Christian, don't forget, tune in Tuesday night for the Blood, Sweat, and Tears podcast and Wednesday night for the Fatboyz podcast. Both those podcasts do go live for the Fantasy Holics pages. You can get your questions asked early in the week, trade advice, things of that nature. Definitely enjoy having people come hang out with us on those podcasts as well. So don't hesitate to do that.
No, absolutely.
Tony says he's having a hard time sitting May, but I have Herbert and Lamar in my 2 QB league. As a Patriots fan, convinced me to sit May and play Lamar and Herbert, not May and Lamar.
I'm not going to convince you because I think it's May and Lamar. So I'm not here to convince you to sit May.
Are you ready for this, Tony? I hope you're paying attention. Quarterback 2 on the season is Justin Herbert. Quarterback 2. Again, I mentioned it earlier. I believe it was since week 5. The last 3 weeks, respectively, since week 7, Herbert has been quarterback 2, quarterback 3, quarterback 4. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes in 2 out of those 3 weeks. He's also adding, I think he's got the highest rushing upside of any quarterback on the season. I believe he's leading the league in rushing yards from a quarterback, which is not something we saw necessarily coming into this season for Herbert. But yeah, you can't sit Herbert. Honestly, I love Drake May too, and trust me, if it was a lot of other quarterbacks you were asking about, I would be in favor of Drake May. But Herbert has been too good. Since, like I said, week 5, he's been quarterback 1 on the season. So you play Herbert if you've got him.
Okay. Michael says Christian Watson or Garrett Wilson. I like Watson this week, but it's so hard to bench Wilson. I think I lean Watson this week. I do think I lean Watson this week.
Give me all of Garrett Wilson if he's on the field. When you talk about Christian Watson, two games since he's been back, 4 targets in both games. Granted, that's probably a team high in both those contests because, Jordan Love doesn't favor one player over the next. But when you talk about Garrett Wilson and his 10 targets a game, it's really hard not to start that with the amount of volume there. So I want all of Garrett Wilson on that one.
Okay.
Jonathan says got to choose between 2, Addison, DJ Moore, and Romo Dunze, full PPR.
I want to say Addison and Dunze, but DJ Moore has been sneakily consistent every single week, getting at least 3 receptions. I don't think he does a whole lot with them. I think last week was by far his best week. He is wide receiver 37. He's gotten 3 receptions in every single game. I can't vouch it. I'm going to go Addison and a Dunze here. I don't see a Dunze leaving another goose egg out there, so I'm going to go with a Dunze and Addison.
Since the bye week, it's 24 and 23 targets for Rome and DJ. Rome having 1 more. But again, I hate seeing a guy hang 0 points when your offense puts up 47 points in a week. That's really tough to advocate to start him the next week. But I think Brant's right. I think here you do go Jordan Addison and Rome Odunze. Again, I'm not in love with Odunze after that goose egg on a contest like that, but yeah, I think here you do go with those two.
Christian says, should I start Hurts versus Green Bay, Goff versus Washington, or May versus Tampa Bay? I was letting you enjoy that little pass play there before I got into the question. I go with Hurts. He needs pick 2. I go with Hurts and May on this one.
Yeah, I go Hurts and May as well. Again, this Lions Commanders contest doesn't have the allure that it should because Dan Quinn's dumb. If Jaden Daniels was out there playing, I think maybe this is a little better of a contest. But I expect a big load of Gibbs and Montgomery this week. So Bijan's too good. All right, Brent, let's go through our touchdown scorers real quick. Who do you got finding pay dirt this weekend?
Finding pay dirt. I got Josh Allen to get himself into the end zone rushing. So I'm going to take Josh Allen. I got Amon-Ra St. Brown to find the end zone here. I like him in the matchup this week. I got Devontae Adams to find the end zone. I think with Puka back, I think Adams becomes more of a red zone threat than when he is the number 1 target when Puka was missing time. So I think Adams gets not forgot about, but he gets less coverage in the red zone. So I like him to find it. And I got Kenneth Walker to find the end zone. It's been a little while since he found it. I think Seattle's going to find a way to try to open up that running game. And I think that honestly, the explosive plays are coming out of Kenneth when we do see them from the running backs, which is very few and far between there in Seattle. But I do think that with Shaheed there, it's going to open it up a little bit more for him. So I think Kenneth Walker finds the end zone this week.
Okay. All right. I actually went running back heavy this week. There's too many running backs that I love their matchups. I've got James Cook, again, who we talked about a minute ago. I think has a huge week, maybe RB1 stuff. Quinshon Judkins, again, against a very depleted Jets defense. I think he finds it. Rico Dowdle, again, since week 5, I think he's like RB2 on the season. And I think that continues this week. And I actually did go with the Lions pass catcher as well, but I went Sam Laporta. I just think that because the running game is going to be so effective this week, I think it's very similar to what you mentioned earlier. It's you knew it was coming. It's a contest where I think the tight end becomes very utilized. So we'll see what our field goal kicker's got.
He left it just short, right off the helmet. It looks like, well, I guess when they slowed it down, it didn't look like it was off the helmet, but it looked like he left it just short for.
Yeah, I think Pitts probably still could have caught that ball, but
yeah.
It sounds like Tony says which combo is better for the rest of the season. His son needs to know Jackson Dart and Wan'Dale Robinson or Darnold and JSN. Go ahead.
I'm going Darnold and JSN. That combo's been too good. JSN's the number 1 receiver and yards in the NFL right now. I think he might be very close to number 1 in receptions as well, if not number 1. So I love that connection going on the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's actually tighter than it should be because Wan'Dale Robinson now has been electric. I was going to go put a player prop in on him against the Bears this week because of what his targets would be. Vegas thinks his targets are at the line's 9, so that's pretty darn good as well. But I think you do slightly go JSN just because of how darn good JSN is with the ball in his hands. So I do go JSN as well, Brent.
Christian asks, we can IM the dates and times of your midweek podcast. Yeah, you can message us on the Fantasy Holics or on the Fatboyz Dynasty podcast page, and we'll definitely get you the times. Just reach out to there, and we'll definitely get those times to you.
Yeah, I agree. Wednesdays typically 7:30-ish for Central Time for Brant and I. I think BST, I don't want to speak for those guys. I think they're typically live at like 8 Central Time. Usually I do listen to the BTS show later in the week as they're not live. But I believe they're 8 Central Time. So maybe one of those guys is on here hanging out. They'll come on and let you know what time they're live.
And Christian, you can always catch us. I believe we're both posted on Spotify after we go live for the rest of the time. We're both on the Spotify podcast network. So you can always reach out there and give us a listen too throughout the week.
Absolutely. We're about 10 minutes away from injuries starting to pour through here.
Yeah, we actually have some big names. I've got quite a few written down here. I've got Ted McMillan. He's questionable, but trending to play. I've got Kamara, questionable, trending to play as well. Swift, same thing, trending to play. BTJ is out. Stroud is out. And then you got Minnesota with Aaron Jones is expected to play. And then you got the Browns with Tillman coming back and Fannin, both questionable, both likely to play this week. Garrett Wilson, another one expected to play. Tampa Bay is still without Godwin and Bucky this week. Not a great matchup for Rachaad White, though. New England's pretty good against the run. I think they said they haven't allowed a 50-yard rusher except for, did Bijan get over that when you guys played them?
I believe Bijan did in week 1. Actually, no, I don't think he did. Bijan was all screens that game. So
I thought so.
It was receiving work.
Yeah, I believe they have not allowed a 50-yard rusher this year. If it was, it's been a few weeks. The Patriots are without Keyshawn Boutte and Ramondre Stevenson. And then Seattle has Horton, who is doubtful. And then Cooper Kupp and AJ Barner are both questionable, both trending the opposite way of expected. Kupp is kind of the same boat as he was last week. And then you got the Niners. Parcells already been ruled out. And you got Brock Purdy as questionable. They did already name Mac Jones the starter. I believe Purdy was the emergency quarterback last week. So he'll probably be the emergency one again this week. And then you got Washington with Daniels out and Terry McLaurin out. So a lot of big names on that injury questionable list here to keep an eye out for. And that's just where I stopped. There might even be some more. That's just where I had to stop at 9:30 when we got live.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be some, hopefully no, restraint band snapping and anything on like that. But we'll see. Hopefully there's nothing, any crazy injuries is what I'm getting at here. Sorry, I'm super distracted by this contest. Tony says, got my son on your show. First time he's watched with me. Keenan Allen or Shakir? I feel like Keenan Allen's been trending down the last couple of weeks. Or maybe it was just specifically last week that he didn't have a great week. Whereas Shakir's been pretty good.
That's what I'm looking up to. Allen.
Yeah, Allen's been really bad, honestly, with one good game since week 3, Brant.
Yeah, I think I go with Shakir here. Let me see how consistent he's been. Maybe if I could spell, but we all know that's my downfall in life.
Honestly, Shakir's not been great either, honestly.
I
actually think I'd go Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go. That's a 44.5. But that could turn into a blowout quick. Although last time I said that, I'm pretty sure the game ended up with Carolina beating Green Bay. Go ahead and take a stab at some of our Green Bay fans. Yeah, I think I go with Keenan Allen in this one.
Yeah, I agree. It's Keenan Allen. Again, I think for me, it rolls back to the fact that Herbert's been as good as Herbert's been this year. So I go Keenan Allen.
Okay, absolutely. Now the 3rd and 13 here. Then next week we got another morning. Oh! No. At least get him down. Thank you. I'm playing against the Falcons defense in 2 leagues, so please at least get him down. Don't let him score a touchdown. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to give it away. Spoiler alert.
You didn't give it away. I think I've caught up to you pretty close at this point.
Okay. Yeah, we got another one. What was it? Washington and who was next week? We had another.
Sorry, I'm still nose deep in this one, Brant. You're gonna have to carry this show.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm looking it up real fast. I know there's another Sunday morning game next week, but I'm not sure who it is.
I do believe it
Miami,
is Washington.
Miami and Washington over in Madrid. Yep. I just had to scroll down a little farther because I don't start many Washington players.
Not many of us have this year, sir.
No. But yeah, I mean, you got a good kickoff this game right here. With in this overseas game, normally we've been seeing some pretty either not high scoring ones or some blowouts overseas. This has been a pretty good one. We're treating Germany to a pretty good game today, back and forth game, and Atlanta showing up and sticking close to the number one team in the NFL right now, or in the AFC.
I will say this about this contest and Roger Goodell putting this game over overseas in Germany. I'm a little pissed off at him. I know you know this because I try to go to a Falcons game every single season. This was the one I was like, hey man, they're right across the border from us, little 3.5 hour drive. And then Roger Goodell's like, yeah, 3.5 hours. How about a 13-hour flight in overseas? But anyway, at this point, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. The defense is playing well right now, but so hopefully it stays a good contest for the Falcons. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I don't know how this necessarily works, but each NFL team's kind of assigned a overseas market, and they have like marketing rights and team store rights and things of that nature. Falcons, for the last, I think 3 or 4 years, Germany has been their overseas market area that they're sent to pretty hard. So I guess for the relations there, it's good. But
I mean, it just upsets me they weren't over there when I was over there. The NFL didn't have any games over there when I was stationed overseas, and then of course Seattle was the first game. One of the first games over there. It was them, and Tampa Bay was one of the first games over there. And of course, I was already back stateside for that one, so I didn't get to enjoy that one. I'm pretty sure they got slaughtered probably by Tom Brady, because that was a few years ago. But yeah.
About 3 minutes away from some injury news starting to leak out, it looks like.
Yep, right now I'm just getting the back updates from your guys' game. On the X here, I'm looking around. You're normally the one who finds them quicker than me.
And usually nothing pours out until about that 11:30 mark. Okay. So,
yeah. Well, let's while we wait for that 11:30 mark, let's do the one thing that you've been doing every single week. We normally save it for the end of the show, but I didn't put down a quarterback. Do we normally do a quarterback?
We don't ever do quarterbacks.
Okay. All right. I was right then. Who you got for your running back one on the week?
I'm going to go James Cook, just because I think he's a little bit more explosive than Judkins, but I like Judkins too. So
well, let me go ahead and change mine then, just so we don't have the same one there, because I as well had James Cook.
Hey, this is what happens when you let the other person go first, or you've done that to me numerous weeks.
Yeah. Let's go with Gibbs. He was at a down week last week. Let's go with Gibbs on a bounce back week this week. Let's go with Gibbs being the RB1 this week. Wow, that's going to really mess me up, because for my wide receiver one, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I guess if this comes true, then the Lions are going to have to explode. But once again, I did have James Cook to begin with, so I am going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown as my wide receiver one.
I'll take Puka.
Okay, I like that. one. Tight end, who you got? No way you make me change mine. There's no way you make me change mine.
I'm going to go George Kittle against the division rival Rams.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely did not make me change mine. I'm going with Jawan Johnson to be the tight end 1 this week. I think he's going to become a focal point of that offense without Shaheed. Excuse me. I think he gets peppered with targets, and I think it's going to be an outstanding week for him.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, I tell you what, if any variation of ours, with the exception of James Cook and Juwan Johnson, ends up being true, I'm going to be a very happy man in fantasy because I own a lot of the other 4 names that we mentioned. So we'll see. You know, there is one contest where you and I own Puka in a fantasy week that's very near and dear to me that I would like to beat one of these players particularly bad in a matchup in a league where you and I co-own a roster. So
yeah, and we're missing 2 of our best weapons this week.
Unfortunately, we are going against Drake London in that one.
Okay. Yeah.
We also are going against a guy who started the Denver Broncos defense on Thursday night as well. So that's not great either. But we're still in there. We got a puncher's chance in that one, 44% chance to win. So anything could happen.
Absolutely. His running back and quarterback did not have very good games, so that helped us out. And our wide receiver 97 or wherever we have Franklin at in that league is he had a pretty good Thursday showing. Especially in that dreadful game. That was such a bad game to watch on Thursday. And I only got to watch the second half because we had a basketball game, and it could not keep my attention very long in that game.
It didn't keep anybody's attention. Yeah, it wasn't a great game. It didn't keep anybody's attention. So, yeah. All right, let's see if we've got any injury news here. It should be pouring in any second. No Brian Thomas Jr. today. I think he was already pretty well doubtful going into it. No Hunter Long.
Josh Palmer for the Bills has been ruled out.
No Keishon Boutte, no Stevenson. So Travion Henderson should be pretty good.
No Stroud and no Fairbairn there in Houston. So if you do have that kicker, you may want to pivot off of him. I'm pretty sure that came out earlier this week. I know he's been pretty good for fantasy. Harrison Bryant was activated for the Houston Texans. So that is, a little bit of news.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara is active.
Okay. Kev, while we're going through these, Kevin asked if Fannin starts, would you play him?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I would play him. Absolutely. He also comes back with the Jags kicker or Vikings kicker. I think I go with Little as well there. I can't go wrong. He's had a pretty good year. So
Josh Palmer, did you mention Josh Palmer?
Yep, Josh Palmer is inactive.
That's a good thing for Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir shares if you've got them. So no Hunter Renfrow for the Panthers. Not seeing anything else of huge note at this point. We got the wave going in Germany. They're way better at that than the people stateside are. That's an impressive wave there. Not seeing anything crazy come out. I'm waiting for this Browns one to see if Fannin's going to go, because I would assume we have that here shortly. Usually Ian Rappaport and Shefty have said the big ones by now, but I'm not seeing anything from Shefty. Shefty must be watching this Falcons game as well. Uh-oh, Pittman. Kevin says he's waiting to see if Swift is playing since he's a Monongai holder and playing against Swift.
So
yeah, that's interesting there.
So it is and actives for week 10 for the Jets is Isaiah Bond, Sanders, and Bates. So it looks like Fannin is playing. That came out about 5 minutes ago from the Cleveland Browns Twitter or X.
Okay.
So that should be pretty good.
Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, McMillan, Jones, Wilson, Fannin, Tillman, and Lloyd are all good to go according to Shefty 12 seconds ago. So there you go. You've got Fannin if you own him. You've got DeAndre Swift is playing as well. So right there you go, Kevin. Shefty just answered that one for you.
Yeah, I was really hoping to get another week of Monongai, but
I think you're still good to get a week of Monongai. Yep, Jonathan Taylor breaks another huge one. There we go.
That's bittersweet for you there now, isn't it?
No, I'm playing a guy in our league that's got like a 2% chance to win. I don't care about that this week.
Oh, okay. You must be playing nicer.
I am. Yep, indeed.
Yeah, I'm over here playing the boomer bust team of the guy that's boomer busting in his pants every week when he puts it on.
Okay, wait.
I'm talking about his weight. He might bust a button or two.
I would say the boomer bust guy when it comes to chairs, but you might have him in that. So
I definitely do not have him beat in chairs.
You're gaining. Tony says, "Hey, it's Tony's son, Matt Prater or Chris Boswell this week."
Oh, Prater's been actually really good this year, but I don't think you. I think you stay with Bos.
Mm-hmm. It's Boswell.
Yep, I'm gonna stick with Boswell as well.
It's Boswell, yeah. Sunday night contest, Pittsburgh Steelers. Kicker, he's one of the best in the league for fantasy. You start him pretty comfortably. Tyler Warren maybe tight end one on the week. You want to talk about that trade, Brant? Should we talk about that on the air?
Had no reason to keep him on. We can talk about it. I mean, my tight end had one catch, but then if you look at the last week when he came back, you couldn't go wrong.
I won't kick you while you're down. So it's always worth holding on to assets. But
who knows, man? You got to wait like 3 years before I'll see the final ending call of that one.
It might be longer than 3 years.
No, I got the 2028 first, so you guys got to wait and see where I get it.
Well, I was simply saying because we won't know what the end result of that will be.
Went versus Bijan 2 weeks, playing Miami 2 weeks ago, hoping to dodge another bullet with going against Cook, who plays Miami. It's tough. Miami is horrible against the run, and Cook's been so efficient this year in his touches and everything else. So,
Kevin, that's not a dodging a bullet. That's a Raheem Morris is a terrible head coach. Zach Robinson's a terrible offensive coordinator. Buffalo Bills are a little smarter than the Atlanta Falcons, so I think Cook should have plenty of work today. He says he dodged a bullet last week with JT as well. So, yeah. I mean, hey, it happens. Sometimes we get lucky when we need things to line up for us, right? So, yeah, hopefully you get lucky again this week. But I think James Cook's got a really, really solid chance to be the guy this week. Brent, what's on the menu for you this week?
Well, with the weather dropping here in Illinois, we're finally getting into our cold temperatures, and we are going with some cheeseburger soup. We'll probably throw some sandwiches on there for dinner. I'll probably get some either pizza or wings while we're out and about for our lunch, and some other appetizers because I'll have to swing out to go get after our cast. I'll have to swing out to go get the stuff for the soup. So I'll probably grab some appetizers to have for lunch, and then it's going to be cheeseburger soup and sandwiches, something I always look forward to as it gets colder. So I was going to get out the smoker this week, but I never made it to the deep freezer to go get the stuff out. So,
yeah, you're 100% right. That you read the mind of our household as well this week. it's definitely soup weather. We got some loaded potato soup going this morning in the crock pot already for dinner tonight, and it's become a huge staple in our household. I think I did it, about week 5. That's kind of when things started in football this year. But I started doing Bavarian pretzel sticks, I guess, the big long ones. With homemade beer cheese, and we're doing that. And the wife wanted to throw down some buffalo chicken dip. We haven't had that for a couple of weeks this year. So kind of doing the appetizer deal for lunch and then moving into some hearty soup as well. Kevin says, what part of Illinois are you guys from? I'm from the Chicagoland and moved to St. Louis, Missouri area. All right, so Kevin, first of all, I got to ask, are you a Cardinal fan or are you a Cub fan? Because that's going to determine whether or not we can help you with advice moving forward. But
I'll help you either way. I don't do baseball.
Brent, you're a Mariners fan. You're trying to be. Brent and I are both from the central Illinois area. So.
Yeah, I've been trying to get back to the Mariners. I used to watch them all the time when they decided just to be the farm league of the MLB there and just start shipping everybody out right as they got good. But yeah, no, I've been trying to keep back up with them a little bit more.
Yeah, Central Illinois for the two of us.
Yep, absolutely. And as I said, that weather's starting to drop there. I went and took the. He's a Sox fan. He says, "Go Cards, F the Cubs."
That boy, you can tune in every week. Still can't love you.
Well, I went out and took the dog out, and like we said, the weather's dropping. We had some snow flurries coming down this morning. Nothing sticking. I could just see it. My dog wants to sit out there and play as I have a husky, so I'm out there freezing my little butt, my big butt off, and the dog's just running around. Yeah. Here we go. Like how all three of us from Illinois, none of us are a Bears fan. So my dad grew up. My dad grew up in Washington, was a Seahawks fan, Seattle fan, and everything. I grew up a huge Sonics fan. We were a basketball household when I was younger. And then, my family actually owned season tickets up there in Seattle. So I'm just a Seattle fan in almost everything.
Yep, it was Jamal Anderson and the Dirty Bird for me. That's kind of where I fell in love. And then the good Mike Vick years, it was kind of all said and done from there for me. But anything but the Chicago Bears, I can't stand. Honestly, Kevin, I'm sure you can relate to this a little bit. Brant and I are kind of surrounded by Bears and Packers fans, and both of them are terrible fans. So that's kind of where things lie for me. So. Big stop there by my Atlanta Falcons. I guess I was going to say your Atlanta Falcons. But the defense has played well today. Very intrigued to see if we can put together a little drive.
Hopefully it's a couple more Kyle Pitts catches here. Aaron Jones and Ted are both active. I think you did say those. Those just came across my phone. Kevin says, I moved to the Packers once the Bears let go of Julius Peppers and the Packers signed him.
I apologize for talking crap about the Packers fans. I like them slightly better than I do the Bears fans, for what that's worth. So yeah, we've got about 15 minutes left on the show. We'll see how things go the last 15 minutes. I may get a little too invested here in this game. We may have to conclude this one early here, Brant. But if you guys don't get your questions asked with us, don't hesitate to go to the Fantasy Holics Facebook page, their X page. Drop your questions in the Start Sit post they'll have there, and get yourself some advice there. But other than that, just hanging out watching this game here. Jets or Giants, nothing huge on the Giants side of the ball. They just sort of sent out their inactives about 8 seconds ago. Drake London's really good at football, if you were curious.
That he is. Starting to settle in and really show why he was such a high draft pick and starting to develop very good chemistry over there with Penix.
Well, it is kind of sad for the length of of Drake London's career. He's not really had much quarterback play. Even with Penix, where I think the future is bright, he's still pretty inaccurate at times. So, for Drake London, it's been a struggle. I think if you talk about a guy like Drake London with a quarterback of Josh Allen's caliber, he'd be the wide receiver 1. Everybody want him, but
Yeah, it's yep, absolutely. He definitely has a good skill set, and it's just about getting settled in and actually keeping a quarterback for years.
Brant, we're about 15 minutes early. What do you say we cut it this week so I can go ahead?
I was going to say it's the same thing you talk about Kyle Pitts there. Is just he's been, he came out of college with a great skill set. It's kind of been, I don't want to say dreadful, but it just has not been his spot there. But like you said, he'll be moving on and go somewhere else.
Pitts' rookie season was Matt Ryan's last year in Atlanta, so he did have good quarterback play his first year in Atlanta, but it's been downhill ever since.
But yeah, absolutely. We can definitely cut this short. I'll let you finish up that fourth quarter with your Atlanta Falcons. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We appreciate it every single week. We'll be back next week. Like you said, Wednesday, we'll be live probably about 7:30 Central Time to do our weekly cast. If you guys have any topic ideas, please shoot them our way. We definitely always like to go over stuff that the fans want to hear. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today. And as always, stay hungry
and stay fast.